These girls are getting it on their own diagnosis. So they're just going in and self-diagnosing. Nobody questions it. We now have informed consent, which means you walk into Planned Parenthood, you sign a waiver, you decide you have gender dysphoria, you walk out that day with testosterone.
Planned Parenthood is doing this?
Yeah, it's one of the biggest distributors.
So you don't have to have some sort of a long, some sort of transitional therapy session with
You can get your breast removed with no therapist note.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So you could be a confused 18-year-old girl and walk into a Planned Parenthood self-diagnosing with no therapy at all, and they'll prescribe testosterone, and you can get your breast removed?
Absolutely. You sign a form. Oh, wait. You can't get your breast removed at Planned Parenthood, though. Sorry.
No, you didn't say that.
You can also get your breast removed from, surgeons. Some of them require a therapist note. I interviewed them in my book, some who do not. And there are both kinds.
Jesus. That's a big decision, right? That's a decision that you can't really come back from. What did have you talked to surgeons about this? What do they think?
They think that...
Obviously, we're generalizing.
Right. So they think a couple of things. I mean, obviously, there are a lot of surgeons who refuse to do it. So I interviewed them as well. They say, you don't destroy the biological function. Like, I didn't become a doctor to destroy someone's biological function for, something that they've decided they have without even, any oversight. But the ones who do it say, look, this population is really desperate for surgery. It's a civil rights issue. If I'm giving them what will seem to bring them comfort. The problem is that there's no follow-up to see how their mental health is afterwards.
The surgeon is basically a mechanic, right? They just remove the tires and send you on your way.
Yeah, the problem is we're not cars, right? It's all connected. So unfortunately, very often the mental health deteriorates. I mean, I talked to one young woman, Desmond, who's amazing, and she decided in high school she was trans. She got celebrated everywhere. Her teachers, her therapist told her, yeah, you're definitely a man. You're supposed to be a man, affirmed her everywhere she went. She got on testosterone, and it caused uterine cramping, which can happen. It's one of the many bad side effects of testosterone. She had to have a hysterectomy. So at 21, she wakes up with a hysterectomy, and she realized this whole thing had been a giant mistake. Her mental health had not improved at all, and this was a huge mistake and path she had gone on, and all of a sudden she didn't know what to do. There was no one cheering her on anymore.
Why do you think people get cheered on for this decision?
I think in America we have a weakness for anything that gets cloaked in civil rights, and part of that is very noble and good. Obviously, the civil rights movement was extremely important in our country and extremely valuable and valorous. But now anything that gets called a civil rights issue, you can't question. So I interview parents, and they'll tell me they're almost all politically progressive. Okay, most of the parents that call me are politically progressive, and I interviewed almost 5 dozen of them now. And they'll tell me I support LGBTQ, but I'm not sure this is right for my daughter. I don't think she's really gender dysphoric. She's getting worse. What is going on here? And I'll say to them, would you take away her binder? Binder is that compression garment they wear to flatten their breasts. And they'll say to me, oh, I can't do that. I mean, I support LGBTQ and whatnot. And I'll say to her, sometimes I'll say to them, would you give her cigarettes? Why don't you give her cigarettes? Because a binder will deform breast tissue. It can cause rib cracking. It can cause shortness of breath.
I wasn't aware of these binders. So this is something like a corset.
Yeah, but right. So it makes them look like a man. So it's got to squash. And if you're, a big-breasted woman, it's going to squash even harder. I mean, it's going to really try to flatten you to give you the physique, the appearance of a male physique.
So, but it's just an appearance thing, or is it?
So that's just an appearance thing. 16-year-old girls don't usually go straight to top surgery. They start with a binder.